Hello, Paul Callan here with Motors and News. Hyundai and Kia are an easy steal. Volkswagen and Alexa for a test drive. Toyota service warranty. Petrol beats electric. Aura gets max score and NCAP. Berlingo Retro 2CV. Ford Smart Tech. Amazon going with e-fuels. Hyundai and Kia in America. This is a story I heard about. I had to find more information on it because I didn't believe that it was possible that what was happening. But the news was coming through that there was a massive increase in the theft of Hyundai and Kias, not old Hyundai and Kias, 2015 to 2019 Hyundai and Kias in America. And I thought this can't be right. There has to be immobilizers on it. But the story was saying that you just hot wire them and away you go. But what we discovered when we looked into the story a bit more was that between 2015 and 2019, Hyundai, in order to reduce the cost of producing a car, removed the spec of putting an immobilizer on the key. And the thieves, the people who steal cars discovered this, and all of a sudden there's been a massive spike in the theft of Hyundais and Kias in America because it's old school. It's just get into the car and hot wire the ignition and off you go. From November 2021, Hyundai have started to reinstall immobilizers, and they offer a retro kit. Now they're charging for it, but you can now purchase a retro kit from the dealer and have a retro kit put on to put a immobilizer on the car. But really a story I couldn't believe when I first heard it. But yes, it's true. No immobilizer between 2015 and 2019. Volkswagen and Amazon, again in America, are trialling a concept for test drives on the ID4. And the way this is going to work is you show up to your dealership in the conventional way. You're then met by a product specialist. And look at the wording here, not a salesperson, not a saleswoman, not a salesman, but a product specialist who talks you through the car. Then they hand the car over to you and off you go. But you don't go with any member of the Volkswagen sales team or the product specialist team. You go off and you interact with Alexa. So any questions you have about the car, you ask Alexa. And this has been a program that's been developed between Volkswagen and Amazon. The wording they use is, they say that Alexa responds in a fresh and fun manner. And they're saying that you need to allow 30 to 45 minutes for this test drive. And they're describing it as the freedom to explore the vehicle without any pressure. So you can see where they're going here. They're removing the idea of a conventional salesperson. And I suppose really as well, it kind of moves the vehicle sale or the sales process along the road of not needing dealerships going forward as well, because you can possibly see where there will be no dealerships needed for this scenario as time goes on as well. Toyota in Ireland have brought out a very interesting product. I've asked some people in the trade about it. Nobody seems to know exactly the ins and outs of it. It's called Toyota Relax. And what it is that if you get your Toyota service in any Toyota dealership in Ireland, you get 12 months warranty when you have the car serviced by a Toyota dealership. It applies to any Toyota up to 10 years old and up to 185,000 kilometers. And you don't have to have bought it off the dealer. You don't have to be a customer of the dealer. If you get a service done this year, you've got 12 months, and if you get another service done in 6 months' time, you've got another 12 months. It rolls on. It gives you a new 12 months each time you get a service done. We're not clear on what's covered in this. We're not clear exactly what the fine print is on this, but they're making a big promotion on it right now, and it's going to be interesting to see what type of business this creates and what exactly are the ins and outs of this type of a product that they've been offered. But Toyota Relax is what that product is called. The idea being is get it serviced with a Toyota dealer and you can relax. You don't have to worry about anything. We'll see. Yeah, we've been some of the time in the stuff we talk about here, it can seem that we're very pro-electric, and I say it's not. We're just trying to report on stories that are happening in the industry, in the trade, in the aftermarket. Well, this story is clearly going anti-electric, but it's a real life story. It's a test that's been done by What Car in the UK, and it's a car that was driven from Yorkshire to Surrey, an electric Peugeot 208 and Peugeot 208 PureTech. And the interesting result of this is that the petrol car was cheaper to fuel for that journey than the electric car. The petrol car was using petrol at £1.99 a litre. It used 15.96 litres, which was £31.90. The Peugeot 208 used 59.37 kilowatts of power, and the recharge for that was £40.97. That was 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour, and they're saying 28% more expensive for the electric car. Now, okay, don't start jumping to the conclusion that there you go, electric's finished. This is highlighting the fact that some of the charge units that are at the motorway services are very, very expensive to use. The point is, this would not have been anything like as expensive if the vehicle was charged on an off-peak rate or even a normal rate, a home rate. But what they're highlighting is that some of these now motorway services are charging very, very high amounts for electric, and that it can now be that the actual electric, depending on where you buy your recharge, can end up being more expensive than your petrol. So you've made it to the middle part again. Thanks for that. And if you could like, comment and subscribe, big help. Thanks for that. We're gently building up the numbers, and any bit of help you can give us in that will be much appreciated. Aura Cat is one of the new cars coming out of China. We featured it a couple of months ago when the images were first launched on it. It's a product that's been built by Great Wall Motor Company in China. If you remember back a couple of years ago, one of the first Chinese products we've seen here was a Great Wall pickup truck and a Great Wall 4x4 vehicle. Old school technology, didn't really work, didn't really take off. Really a poor copy of what was already a bad product. This product, the Aura Cat, really funky looking car. Reason it looks some similar with some styling cues from Porsche, because the designer of the car is an ex-Porsche designer. But the really interesting thing about this car is that it's just after having its Euro NCAP rating, and it's got a 5-star rating, instantly got a 5-star rating in the Euro NCAP crash test. And that's interesting because in a way there was a time when we laughed at Chinese cars when they got the crash test done because they looked lovely, and then they just completely disintegrated when they did the crash test on them. So this looks like it's that kind of change is coming now, where the Chinese product is really getting serious. I like the look of the car. It's a small city type car, so all the more achievable in what it's done here on the NCAP test. It's quite such a small car and it's achieved such a high rating. But this looks to be the path that the Chinese product's taking now, that they really are going from being a laughing stock to being something really serious that we're going to see start to penetrate the market into the future. Again, with this retro throwback type styling, but this is an interesting one. Berlingo, you can get, or you'll be able to buy a kit that will convert your current model Berlingo to make it look like an old 2CV van. And it's not that you buy the van from Citroën as a retro throwback. You buy a conventional van, and there's a Italian company that have designed a fiberglass kit, and you put the panels onto the van. You replace the existing headlights with a round headlight that's reminiscent of the 2CV. It fits in on the mount points. All the panels then go on to the existing van to make it look like an old 2CV van, even though it's a modern van with all the modern features on it. The product is licensed by Citroën, but you buy a conventional van and you can then retro style it. So it's interesting what's going on here. This could be something that starts to develop and take off, and I'm not sure how this is going to be done, whether it's a case that the customer can buy the kit and come to the workshop and have the kit installed. Not quite clear on that yet, but it certainly isn't a product that's leaving the factory like this. It's leaving the factory as a conventional van, the kit's getting purchased, and then the retro kit's getting put on the van. How or where that's happening, we have to try and find out a little bit more on that one. Ford are developing a concept with smartphone technology, and what they're trying to do is use a Bluetooth network that alerts the car driver to pedestrians or cyclists that they can't see, but that the software deems that this is a dangerous situation. So possibly a pedestrian is going to step out from behind a van. The driver can't see the pedestrian, but the software is linked to the pedestrian's app on their phone, and the software in the car is linked, and that there's going to be a warning, both on screen and an audible warning to the driver of the car, that there is a dangerous pedestrian situation or cyclist situation coming up and in front. So it's still a development technology, but it's something that they're working on, and again all linked to phone apps and phone technology and working with the Ford Sync system. And again, when you look at one of the reasons or one of the driving factors for people buying new cars today is to do with the infotainment and the interaction with the technology that's in the car. So I think this is some of the kind of things that car manufacturers are coming up with, that these are the things that attract people to the car, not performance and not styling so much in the old way, but more about how much interaction there is and technology there is in the car. Another little story about Amazon. Amazon are going e-fuel in California. They've done a deal with a company called Infineum, and they're going to go with e-fuels instead of diesel on their van truck fleet in California. Again, e-fuel is using carbon waste and renewable power to achieve a net zero end result, is what the Amazon are saying will be achieved. But they're going to replace all their diesel truck fleet, all their diesel van fleet in California with these e-fuel vehicles. Again, we're hearing e-fuel. E-fuel in the news at the moment is mainly in the news through F1, through Volkswagen and Porsche, even though the Porsche deal is a little bit up in the air about buying into Red Bull. But really at the end of the day, it looks to be there's a big push here to kind of maintain the internal combustion engine by using e-fuels, and that e-fuels are becoming more credible and becoming more of an alternative. Certainly that's been driven by some of the manufacturers, but this is another good example of e-fuel now starting to become mainstream. The vans in California, the trucks and vans in California do 5 million miles a year. So now there's 5 million miles that was being done on diesel fuel that will now be done on synthetic fuel. So again, something that we're probably going to see more rolled out of over the years, and we're going to see that we're using a mixture of hybrid, e-fuel, hydrogen, pure electric. So again, an example of how more of these different forms of fuel, different forms of propulsion are all going to exist together. Yep, thanks, you made it to the end again, and we'll see you next week. But if you could, before you go, please like, comment and subscribe. Thanks a lot. See you next week.